Okay, Marina? Okay, Chris. Right, let's go. Hello everyone, and welcome to a slightly different introduction to this week's episode of the Randomiser. You see, it's Christmas coming up, and I would like to make our Christmas episode of the Randomiser slightly more interactive. You may remember, not last Christmas, but the Christmas before that, we had the Randomiser print off the names of 5 Gerry Anderson Christmas episodes, and we put them into crackers. And Marina and I pulled a cracker. We got the Thunderbirds episode, give or take a million. But we recently found that we still have the 4 crackers, so we've ripped them open. We have the names of 4 Christmas-related Gerry Anderson episodes, and we thought it might be rather nice to let you, yes you, decide which one we watch on the Christmas edition of the podcast. Now, by my incredibly complex calculations, I estimate that this episode of the podcast will drop on November 30th. So, if I've remembered, I have just started a thread on the Gerry Anderson Podcast Listeners Facebook page asking which episode you would like me to watch for our Christmas show. And the 4 candidates are Stingray, A Christmas to Remember, Joe 90, The Unorthodox Shepherd, Terrorhawks, A Christmas Miracle, and New Captain Scarlet, Enigma. So it's November 30th today. Let's say we'll run this for, let's say 2 weeks. We'll run it till Sunday, December 13th. So that's just about 2 weeks. Just leave the title of the episode you want me to watch in the comments and I will add up all the votes and see which episode is going to get reviewed on the Christmas edition of the podcast, which I think is going to be airing on the 21st of December. So that will be... well, that's 3 weeks away. Oh my god, it's only 3 weeks away. Ha! Also a message, if you're listening to this on the Gerry Anderson Randomiser podcast several years from now, please disregard everything I've said. You're too late to do anything. But if you're listening to this in the first half of December 2020, get on over to the Facebook listeners page and cast your vote. And Marina and I will see you next week. What's that? Oh, right, yeah, we have to do an episode this week. Right, what did the printout say? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, whatever. It's The Protectors and its trial. So, welcome back to The Protectors on the Randomiser, and as with a few months ago, I had a new microphone. That was a big first for the Randomiser. Today, this is the very first Randomiser I'm recording on a new chair.
How was the flight?
Very nice. I assembled it day before yesterday, and it hasn't fallen apart yet, so all's good. But all is not well in
Here for over an hour.
Harry Rule's pad.
Mrs. Anne Gordon. She didn't want to speak to anybody except you, so I haven't pressed her. Harry, she's been crying.
Oh, a crying lady sat on Harry's sofa. This is no good.
Hi, I'm Harry Rule. How are you?
He doesn't normally let ladies into his pad unless they're going into the bedroom, not to sit on the sofa crying.
Why don't you tell me what's wrong?
I don't even know why I came.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, for nearly 3 weeks now, you have listened with
Flashback time. This is a flashback. We're now in court.
in my mind that the 3 accused, David Blair, Henry Franks, and John Stuart Gordon, are the 3 who made the savage and fatal attack on police officer Stangate.
I couldn't think of anything else to do, I suppose.
This is the mother of one of the boys who's on trial.
And now this.
One by one, their pleas and alibis have been shown to be false.
This is John Ringham as the prosecutor here, who was Tlatoxel in the Aztecs in Doctor Who. But there's someone with an even greater Doctor Who connection here.
Tiring case for all concerned. And I suspect that counsel for the defence will wish to address.
It's the Doctor himself, Richard Herndl, who played the first Doctor in The 5 Doctors.
The court will be upstanding.
Because the judge is having a heart attack. Oh dear.
Get his collar.
Well, that's a very stressful case for this judge.
Somebody get a doctor. I am the doctor.
I love the zoom in on the boy who's on trial there, as if
I haven't seen him for 2 days.
he somehow caused the heart attack with his mind powers.
Please. Before he does something terrible.
So we're back from the opening credits. Trial. Written by another Doctor Who connection, Robert Banks Stewart, who wrote The Seeds of Doom and Terror of the Zygons. I believe this is his only Anderson script.
Hello, Judge Cronin.
Oh, hello.
So I expect something dark and gloomy, and hopefully with a giant monster loping around the place. Loping around, yeah.
You sure you're quite warm enough?
Yes, thank you. I'm fine. Isn't it a lovely day?
I wonder if the weather forecasters ever confessed to misleading people.
Oh?
It was supposed to rain.
Oh, was it?
I enjoy our small talk banter. Yeah, Richard Hurndall is recovering in a care home. He's sat on a bench, but the father of the boy who's on trial, Joss Ackland...
I've got to speak to you.
Who are you?
My name's Gordon, Arthur Gordon. I'm John Gordon's father.
has let himself in.
Look, I must leave immediately.
You're not being fair.
And will not speak.
That boy's only 18.
There is nothing you can say to me. Now, will you please leave me alone?
Oh. He's now shaking Hurndall, but luckily the gardener and the nurse are on hand to separate them.
Hey!
Oh, and Ackland's making a run for it. Yeah, we saw in court earlier, Ackland was looking...
Yes, well, I appreciate your confidence.
Well, let's say a little unhinged at the thought of his son being on trial. And that's what his wife was here to hire the protectors for, to find him. She doesn't know where he's gone.
Well, this is all the weeklies I could find. Tell me, what's the procedure in a case like this?
We improvise. We make it up as we go along. We've only got 20 minutes.
This was adjourned, which is not without precedent. By the end of the week, there'll either be a resumption or there'll be a retrial.
Oh, I see.
What concerns me more is the boy's father, Gordon. 20 days in court with tension building, and then the judge collapses. You can imagine his state of mind.
Would this also be, and I hate to say it, this may be another one of those Ireland situations where I open my mouth and say something silly. Is this the only Anderson episode with scenes in an actual court of law, like an actual courtroom? I know there are episodes like UFO Court Martial, but that's, I think as General Henderson says in that episode, that's not a court of law. Yeah, strange to see an actual legal court and a judge. Anyway, Paul's gone to check the offices.
Can I help you?
Of the father.
Yes, my name's Paul Boucher. I'm looking for Arthur Gordon.
Oh, he isn't here.
And he's getting nowhere with his secretary, played by...
He's been at the court.
I know who this is.
Well, his son killed a policeman.
Oh, it's Sally James, who later went on to Tiswas? It's a bit before my time. I want to say she was a host on Tiswas.
Clerk of the court.
So we've got a lot of famous faces and recognisable names this week.
Judge Cronin. I just want to apologise about this morning.
Perhaps dinner or... Oh, no.
Hello?
The judge has just hung up on him. Oh, no. A sudden sharp cut to Ackland sat in a pub looking absolutely shattered.
Like a light lager, please.
But Harry's found him. That didn't take long. Because when you hire the protectors, you get the best.
Mind if I sit down? You're, Arthur Gordon, aren't you?
You're a reporter.
No. My name is Rule. Harry Rule. Your wife asked me to find you.
And I believe this is one of the last episodes to be filmed. It's certainly the penultimate episode in the ITC official broadcast order. I'm looking at Robert Vaughan here, and he just looks so done. He just looks so fed up.
You're right, it was a mistake.
And I don't quite understand why he looks like this, because I've recently been watching The Man from U.N.C.L.E. third series. Yes, I know. To anyone who's familiar with that knows there's some absolute crimes against television in there. But even at its worst moments, he's still having an absolute blast. And yet, just a couple of years between that and this...
One son.
He just looks so fed up.
I'm sorry.
Is he normal?
But this is a nice conversation.
Yes, I'd say it was.
Harry and Ackland bonding over the fact that they both have sons. It's another rare mention of the fact that Harry Rule has a son.
Well, just imagine he were 18.
Who now lives with his ex-wife, Hannah Gordon.
Starting off at university. Good business ready for him to take over. Business I started from nothing. And now he's on trial for murder.
I like this incidental music as well, which I think was composed for Borderline.
Judge is so twisted, so biased.
You're questioning the judge's impartiality?
Impartiality?
But he's Richard Hurndall.
You should have seen him at the trial. Kneeling away, poisoning the minds of the jury.
Your protocol, sir?
means I have to get up and walk to the bar to get it. I'm not over enthused with that idea, but I suppose I'll do it.
I'm going to give you some advice.
And this looks to be like a real pub, but it's also a very, very small pub.
To your wife. Go home and stay home.
You think you'll get a fair trial there?
It may just be the way it's shot, but it looks like there's only room for the one table that Ackland and Vaughan are sat at. Oh, Ackland's not in the mood for staying home. He's stormed out. Now, Harry could follow. On the other hand, he now has not one but 2 drinks he could finish, so he's going to stay at the pub. And Ackland goes back to his office. Yeah, going back to what I was saying about Vaughan a little while ago, I don't know what caused his change in mood. I know he wasn't happy during this. And he still seems quite professional. He does what he's asked to do. But there's just a spark in him that was there through Uncle. And I don't think any shows really recaptured after that. Subsequent decades, everything I've seen him in, if he's not enjoying his work, you can see it in his eyes. And it looks to me like he very seldom enjoyed his work after Uncle. The only time I think I've really seen that light come back into that warmth back in his face was in Hustle.
I hate to mention it, but this does happen to be my office.
So it's now night time.
Have some work. Take my mind off things.
I don't know why Harry's left it to night time to follow up on Ackland. Maybe he's been drinking all afternoon.
If you want, come along with me. I promised your wife I'd find you.
But I suppose with this episode, this is a slightly not serious, because a lot of the Protectors episodes are serious, but it's slightly more personal. The stakes are a bit more personal with this. It's just looking after one guy who's a bit unstable. Ackland has also taken out an apple from the desk and started eating it. His secretary, Sally James, was eating an apple earlier.
You go ahead. I'll look up.
I hope that's not one of hers, because he's only taken a bite out of it and left it on the desk. Oh, that's it. Never turn your back on anyone in this show. They will cosh you. And now what's he going to do? He's got a big red box. With... oh, okay. What looks like a homemade bomb-making kit. Homemade bomb-making kit, that doesn't make sense either. Oh well, I've said it now. Detonators, cables, and a crowbar. Does not look promising. So it's time for more booze.
Well, there's no blood.
Ah.
Listen, why do you think Gordon tried to fix you?
Oh, I don't know. Guess he just wanted to get me out of the way for a while. What interests me more, though, is what he was doing in his office.
Yeah.
Ackland's now taken a room at a bedsit, with all the gear he needs to make a nice little bomb.
You have no idea where he is.
No.
That's what I hired you for. You messed it up.
Well, thanks for talking with us. We'll let you know if anything develops.
But you've got to do something.
We're doing all we can.
Harry's been coshed on the head. Doesn't that count as enough?
Oh, I should have told you the first time I came to see you. 5 years ago, my husband had a breakdown.
Oh dear. And that's why he's now holed up in a hotel room with several sticks of dynamite and a slightly distant expression on his face. Now that's it. His bomb's all assembled. He's oh, I thought he was going to leave and do something with it, but he's just going to put it in the cupboard. Go for a walk. It's a nice day. Actually, it's not. It looks very cold.
It was when John, my husband, and he never seemed to be able to...
Finish a sentence.
They didn't really get on together, you see. My husband was working all hours, day and night. The business was going through a bad patch. And he was absolutely convinced that several other companies, rivals, you know, had ganged up on him.
And had they?
No. The psychiatrist called it a persecution complex brought about by stress. He just cracked with the worry of it all, seeing him sitting in court day after day. I saw the same worried, tortured.
The same symptoms.
Yes.
Persecution complex.
I do like the slightly
The
more...
judge is the persecutor.
These later episodes of The Protectors, certainly towards the end of the second series... Oh, what's this? The trial's reopened. Judges recovered, according to a newspaper stand there. Yeah, they feel a bit more grounded to these later episodes. You know, there's almost a sort of Sweeney-ish quality to some of these UK-based episodes, away from the glamour of all the European travel. This is something a bit different.
Determined to get Judge Cronin.
Which is why I really wish the show had a third series. I would have liked to have seen if it would have developed a bit, if it would have developed into something a bit closer to that, or if it would have just continued to cling on to the sort of, you know, the globe-trotting Euro spy antics of the 60s. I'm not entirely sure, because with Tony Barwick as a script editor, he seemed a bit, well, A, mad, but also he seemed a bit, he seems quite aware of the idea that the show can't stay the same forever. It has to adapt and evolve. Anyway, Ackland has now got his homemade bomb planted in the back of a car boot. And the timing mechanism on this bomb is just about the biggest clock he could find. But it is now ticking. Oh, I think this might be the judge's car.
False alarms in our work, Mr. Rule.
Inspector, I don't think
Is
Gordon...
that the nursing home?
Well, we'll see. The judge will be given police protection, of course. But I'm quite sure nothing will happen.
Well, let's hope so.
Oh, goodbye, overly confident police inspector who only has one scene. Ah, yes, this is the judge's car. It's arrived at the nursing home to collect him. And actually, it's rather a shame, although Joss Ackland is really good in this episode, it's a shame that Richard Herndl doesn't get more to do here.
Well, goodbye, sister.
Because I think a lot of cult TV fans just kind of... They only know him as the first Doctor in the Five Doctors, and kind of not dismiss him, but they think that's all he can sort of be, a knockoff version of something else. And
Isn't an easy target.
he's actually done some really great work over the years.
He was in the army, but that doesn't mean anything.
But this episode just doesn't quite give him the chance to show that off, because he's actually not in it that much. Anyway, what's this new development?
Rule here.
Yes, Mrs. Gordon. Okay. Right. Bye. He just walked in his own front door.
Well, that's a relief.
I'm not so sure about that. I still don't understand why he was in his office.
Because what's his office? What is he in charge of? Is it a construction firm? Again, that's something I've waffled over.
Usual, sir.
Anyway, Ackland is now back in the pub, the world's smallest pub. Staring at the clock, it's 20 to 3 now. So I'm going to assume the bomb he's set is timed to go off on the hour. The judge is now being rushed to court with police protection. Police car in front, motorbike behind. No UFOs to take a shot at the motorbike riders this week, unfortunately.
He must have come for some reason.
The protectors are now searching his office. Oh.
There's a clock there on the wall. Now it's gone.
Look at this. Detonators.
You need explosives for demolition work.
What could it mean? Clever old Harry's put it all together.
Get me the radio room. Emergency.
Oh, that was the police inspector from earlier. Again, he's put the word out. Joss Ackland is just sat in the pub staring at this clock. There's only so many facial expressions you can use in a situation like that, and he is employing all of them because it's 2 minutes away from the hour. And the convoy has stopped. Oh.
Radio message, sir. There may be a bomb planted in your car.
1 minute to go.
I would have thought that rather unlikely.
My boy. That's it. And Ackland is now downing his glass, celebrating a job well done.
Another?
or as usual, that's 7 minutes fast.
Ah, haha, oh, okay. I'm not sure if that's bad writing or very clever, but yeah, the clock in the pub was fast, so they had plenty of time to save Handel. The police have now found the bomb in the back of his car. And Handel looks very bemused.
There's obviously a serious case against you. If you accept that, and the fact that you need help, psychiatric treatment, things might be a lot easier.
Come on, Joss Ackland, do it. Do the right thing.
It was all for the boy.
I just wanted him to have a line of dialogue in this episode.
It is my duty to remind you that the onus of proof lies squarely on the shoulders of the prosecution. You may feel that the evidence presented against Blair and Franks satisfies you of their guilt. But in the case of John Stuart Gordon, you may prefer his version of what happened on that night in question.
So we're back in court. Ackland is in handcuffs, but Harry is there and his wife is there.
And as to his guilt, then it is your duty to find him not guilty.
The judge has laid down a slightly more lenient case for Ackland's son. We don't actually know the outcome of the trial, but the music is leading us to believe that it's going to be positive. All is going to be well for the Ackland family, and that was Trial, which I actually remembered being a bit better than I found it this time. A very nice guest performance from Joss Ackland. I wish we could have had more from Richard Herndl. Nice to have another slightly smaller scale UK-based story, but it was nothing spectacular. Not one of the greatest episodes of The Protectors, but still quite enjoyable.